Hi, welcome to Exercise again with the Pitt County Schools and Recreation. My name is Kathleen Schenk and I teach here at the Alice Keene Center, and while we're home we're going to exercise together. So we're doing a couple of these videos. While we are talking about chair class, this can still be a very intense workout and you can pace it. While we do use the chair, I alternate in and out a lot. If you want to come out of the chair more often than do so, you'll see my moves change. And if you want to sit throughout the entire workout, you're welcome to do that as well. So when we start, we're just again going to loosen up the body just a little bit by let's doing these nice big circles back behind us. As again, when we sit a lot, we tend to shift forward into bad posture. So it's so important to just really open up those shoulders. The big shoulder girdle has to be able to move. It's a ball and socket joint. If you can go big, go big. If your shoulders are hurting, modify any of the moves that you need. But taking in a breath, inhale at least a 4, and try to exhale 6 or 8 counts, making that a little bit longer. It helps our blood pressure and the body just to calm itself so we not overwork. So we just take a couple more deep breaths with this, okay? We're gonna just roll the shoulder back again, alternating, which is a nice option, and especially if one shoulder's bothering you. And we're just standing, step tapping side to side. So again, you can stand and do this exercise, or if you need to sit, go ahead and start right away with a toe tap or something that you want to do in your chair. Literally just walking in the chair, or stand up for a little bit if you prefer this option. Totally up to you. But as we get the movement going, it's demanding the blood and oxygen to come out to the working muscles that are demanding it for exercise. And so we're warming up nice and slow. We don't jump right into any exercise routine, as the warming up of the muscles also causes a little bit of elasticity to happen. So the range of motion of the muscles and therefore the joints can move a little bit more freer without accidentally going too far and tight muscles being pulled. So it is really important to warm up. And again, this can be walking. We can step tap again. And again, if you want to use a chair, as you hold onto the chair while you do the standing exercises, then you're going to have a little bit better support for balance if you need it. So at all times, feel free to use it. If you like it away from a chair, do so. This is your workout. So as we do this side to side, we're just going to turn to one side of the corner of the chair, and on the outside leg, lift and lower, lift and lower. So again, we're demanding just a warm up of the joint, but the secret is that we're loading the hip that we're standing on. So we're strengthening this hip here, which is so important for balance, for functional movement all day long. Hold on to the chair if you need. If you really want to challenge yourself, let go of that chair as you can. Try not to have the foot you're lifting drop into the floor, but if it has to, make it really small. Bring it up higher if you can, and just control that. I know I stayed there quite a bit. Let's turn and do the other side. So as you go to the other corner of your chair, we do the other leg. Be pretty close so that you can balance upright. Hold the chair if you need. Let go if you can. Keep the foot that is touching very soft. Try not to drop into it. If you need to bend the knee that you're standing on, that'll help a little bit if it feels tight. But nice, strong balance. Really strengthen up the ankle, the support through the knee, and that hip. Body up nice and tall. If you're trying to balance and your body's leaning forward or off, you don't balance as well. So stand up nice and tall as we do that. We're coming back down to just a step tap. Again, let it relax. Again, if you need, sit in your chair and just move your legs. Doesn't matter really how, as long as you're moving, you're working. We'll stay here, and we're gonna do one more set. So again, when we turn to the side of our chair, outside leg, up and down. We're gonna add to this, up, kick, and down. So a little bit more challenging as we're having to hold it there longer. And yes, if we can let go of the chair, there is your challenge for balancing. And walk it out. We go to the other side, just simply move around, grab the other corner of your chair, and here we go lifting. Again, don't overly lean. Try to stand up and just use it as soft support, and add up, kick, and down. So this is making us stay here longer. So yes, that is tougher. And you just do what you can, taking a break when you need. That's it. One more. How about one more? One more. And walk. Good job. Loosen up. It's always good to kind of walk, shuffle your feet a little bit. And while we're standing, we're going to go right into this band work. You do not have to have an exercise piece of equipment to make this work. So if you don't have anything, just do the arm movement without, which I'll show you. If you have something that you can kind of pull and is stretchy, add to. You hold it up and slightly in front of your body. Pull back and release. Pull back and release. So this is working our lat muscle, the big back muscle. And this big back muscle is important. It's here, and it's requiring the strength to pull us up. So that's why we want to strengthen it. So it's good to pull back, not behind your head. This is not good for rotator cuff and shoulders. So keep it in front where it's nice and safe. Again, as we do that movement, if you don't have anything, it's fine. Just pull and think about it. If you use those muscles, you will get a workout without having to have equipment. So we kind of open the fingers and we squeeze, pull back. So where are we squeezing? We are squeezing these muscles right here. So pull back, up, pull back. And every time you do a pull with a piece of equipment or not, that's the time we exhale and we take a breath and we exhale, okay? Shake it loose. You can set your band down for a little bit, and we're going to the chair to sit. So as we sit in our chair, it's very important to sit correctly. You're going to sit a little bit forward on the edge of your chair, and you're going to tilt slightly forward into the pelvic so that you feel like you're leaning forward. This loads the hip girdle correctly. It stacks the spine correctly, and our shoulders are back, and our head is up in good posture. This is how you sit, and sitting like this alone is a great exercise. So just sitting, try to practice it. If you're tired and you're sitting like this, I understand, take a breather, but then focus and sit up really tall. So as we've started this basic little movement of the heels out in front, again, our body posture's up, and we know we can always add a little bit more. So we add those arms. And at any time you want to just do arms, do it, as long as you're moving something. If you feel like, no, my upper body's hurting, I want to use more legs, then do just legs. If you can add it all together, you're going to get more from the workout, so try. Now, we can take this up into a little kick. It comes a little bit more work. Front thighs working hard, hip, everything's working to hold us up in our chair. That's why chair exercise is not just an easy, lazy exercise. It's a strong exercise to sit and do this. Crossing, using more chest, front shoulder, and even a little bit of our back, because it's counterbalancing and pulling the elbows back, right? 4, 3, 2, walk it. And again, if you prefer to stand up, stand and walk, you can stand up and do most of my moves all the time. You sit if you need. We're gonna do heel taps, out, out. So can we make a little bit of an angle? So a little bit of an angle, out, out. Again, if something hurts, it's pulling too much at the hip or the knees, keep everything straight forward. Just sit up nice and tall as we do this, okay? If we can go out, the hip is also a ball and socket joint like the shoulder girdle, hip girdle. And the angle's good for it, but if you've had problems or surgery with hips and you've been told, directed by your doctor not to, you have to do exactly what works for you. We're gonna bring it back in front. We're gonna kick it again, a little bit more intensity. And we're gonna add arms again if you can. And then we're gonna double the move. So we go 2 kicks, 2 kicks. Note that I am holding my foot up off that floor on the 2. You do not have to. You can make it a heel tap. You can kick and touch the floor. Or of course you can hold that foot up, which involves more from the hip because it's having to stabilize you and balance. Note that I'm going a little bit off to the side with my arms, which makes my back waist muscles work a little bit more. We're always looking for more, yes? All right, walk it out, walk. Now while you're walking, you wanna have fun with this, go fast. Now when you go fast, don't stomp, 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 stomp your feet. Keep them up really soft on the balls of your feet. And if you lean back a little bit, let me show that to the side. Instead of here, if we lean back, it makes you use your hips, your abs more. So it's a really nice way to get in more workout. Press, 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 press. Slow it down if you need. Go fast if you can. And knee, 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 knee. All right, so a little bit more work. 2 legs both at the same time. This is tough. Do it if you like. Don't lose control. But if you got to use the back support, do. If you prefer 1 knee at a time, do. And you can alternate this, of course. You can do 4 without, 4 with a double, and just keep going to make it work for you. Walk it out. Again, body up nice and tall because now we're not leaning back to help support the low back. And relax, stand up. So we're going behind the chair again. You get to your chair for support and balance, and we step tap. When you sit a lot in your chair, your hips in the front get really tight. So it's important to stand up often. 30% more stress on your low back when you sit. So stand up. Take a break when you can. Sit down though if you need. And as we step tap, hold on, lift, lift, hamstring. Now this can be a real tough one for balance. And if it bothers you, what are we doing? We step tap instead. So you can keep it here or here. If you want to not use a chair, here we go. Use the chair for support as often as you need. Pull. We're gonna step tap, bring it back down. Step tap, step tap. Nice job. 4, 3, 2. All right, so we're going back to using a band if you have one. Again, if you don't have to have it. But if you do, pull it up, get it right underneath the arms, hold it here, knees are bent and relaxed, always feet are hip width apart, and we pull straight forward and release. Pull straight forward and release. Breathe out, take a breath. Breathe out, take a breath. As we pull, we are using the strength of the pec muscle, the chest, front shoulder, and of course, every time we straighten out that elbow, we're getting in tricep mostly on the pull. But as you come back, if you keep it controlled, you're actually working the opposite muscles as well in what is considered a negative move because you're not doing this, boom, Chris, boom. Don't do any of that. Press it out, release it. Press it out, release it. If you don't have equipment, you're still doing the movement. And you just, again, breathe and squeeze. So bring it in, whether you have the bands or not. Try to bring it up and in. Up and in. If you don't like the band work, if it's getting too tough, come with me. We'll drop that band and do this freestyle with just your arms. The shoulders are working hard enough, just simply lifting the shoulder strength that we have. Pull, release. Last one, we're gonna shake it loose. Okay, we're standing behind our chair again. We're standing up. Use the chair for support if you need. Step tap in like this. Add the arms, roll, roll, roll. Now reach, out, out. Now reach up. We're gonna repeat these arm movements. So next time, ready, roll, 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 reach the arm, reach, reach, reach up over. 4, 3, 2, roll the shoulder, reach, 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 bring it out, out. Remember, you can do this sitting. Sit, do the same arms. Walk it out, standing up nice and tall, okay? So we are going back to the chair now. And what we're gonna do is sitting, we're gonna do squats, our favorite. Again, sit a little bit on the edge of your seat. Make sure your body posture is good, but when you go to get up, try to lift up without using your arms as your support. If you need your arms, then use them. You can push up. If you have another chair or a counter that can help you, try this. Think about where your feet are. If they're out too far, the angle's uncomfortable. But we don't want to have them tucked under either, right? So as we do this, it is important to strengthen everything in the hips, the thighs. We are working a little bit of balance strength for ankles to support us. And of course, the low back belly is working to stabilize our spine. Now, we do not have to sit all the way down to do these squats. If you want, just hover and come back up. It's a nice way of doing it without going too deep into a squat, because the sitting all the way down is a little bit deep, but it's very good for us, and it is what you do all day. So if you can do it, do so. If you want, here, right? Make sure the knee does not go past the toes, and that you balance and use the strength of your hip. You should not feel your toes pushing into the floor. Your toes should be up. Your back and your heel a little. I know these can be tough. When you need a break, you take it. We'll do 2 more. One more time. And stay up. Now, we're gonna go to the back of the chair again, and we're gonna do calf work. So as we do calves, again, you may want to use the chair to support you. Go up and down on your toes. Keep your feet exactly hip width apart and balanced. Come up on your toes as high as you can, and do not have your heels hit the floor hard. You very softly lower. It means you have good control. If you can do this without holding the chair, there's your challenge for balance. And you lift and lower. High as you can, stay up. Ooh, this is a toughie. Really kick it in. Use the chair if you need. Up, up. Last one. Relax for a second. So walk, loosen up your feet a little bit. That works them really tough. We can also do a calf work where we turn out a little bit, and we have this nice angle. So if it's comfortable for the hip, this is the hip again, the ball and socket joint's supposed to open. And we still have everything very much aligned from hip, knee to ankle. And you try it from here. Again, use your chairs as support if you need. And if you can go without a chair holding, then do so. You can stay up. Again, make small little pulses and relax. Good job. Shake it loose, or just walk to relax those legs, okay? So now, if you have hand weights, we can pick up weights to add to this routine, and we're going to sit again. If you don't have weights at home, you have cans of food maybe, or little certain cartons or something that you can pick up and use, and you don't have to use weights to get a workout. So we're gonna set the weights right here. We're gonna again sit very, very tall. Remember, pelvic tilt forward, shoulders up in good posture. Stand the weights like this and lift and lower and lift and lower. So whether you have a weight or not, just do the arm reach. This is really good for the shoulder joint. If we get tight, locked up joints, they don't want to move, they are rubbing wrong. You've got to work slowly to get the movement back. You have to keep the natural range of motion in your muscles and your joints. If we lose that, they just keep getting tighter and tighter and locked. And we've got to move them. So do what you can. Every time we lift a weight is when we exhale. So when the weight is coming down, we just take that quick little inhale and exhale. We want to make this tougher, both arms. This is quite tougher. On the back, low back, mid back is having to help stabilize our spine while we do this double weight. So do it if you can. Set it down, take a break when you need. How about 2 more? Last one. Now, as we set the weights down, again, you don't have to have weights, but as you sit, you're going to want to roll slightly back. This is the one time I say do it. What we do is simply roll back a little, hold your abs in really tight, and now lift 1 foot up off the floor. See, we have to roll back as we do this to stabilize our spine. So we have to engage our abs, and we have to hold it, and you don't have to lift the foot up high. As soon as the foot leaves the floor, your hips are working. So easy lifts. But now, because we've set the weight on our leg, we're having it work a little harder. Hold it up, little circles. So again, the ball and socket hip joint is designed to circle, but if you've been told by your doctor not to do certain moves, then you have to listen to them for your specific care. Set it down, always take a break. And I like taking a break by rounding forward. This stretches the low back out. We come back up, again, tilt, round that back a little bit, abs held in, other leg, lifts and lower. Again, not how high we lift, let's just bring it up a little bit. And if you notice throughout the workout that one side of your body is tighter or weaker than the other, that is what is really causing a lot of postural imbalances in your body, which will wear down joints fast. So if one side's really tough, you got to keep working to get it strong so it matches the other side, okay? Hold it up and circle. Again, this does not have to be a big circle, but just that little bit of movement up and around is a little tougher. So we'll do just a couple more. And last one, and we relax forward, let the low back take a stretch and a breath from that. Sit up nice and tall, and we're gonna do straight out to the side. Now note that my elbows are bent so that I'm not overextending. If you reach straight arms like this, this is very hard. This is the hardest position because of the weight being so far out, away from the center of the body. So if you don't like it, then keep it here. And of course, if you want to do it without weights, you're still working, okay? Now we're gonna do two more. One more time, and relax. So we're gonna double up the weight on one leg and do this again. Abs in, roll back slightly, lift and lower. So again, this is a little tougher workout. You don't have to double the weight. Take one away or take both away. As we hold it up, you can do this a little longer, or we can go ahead and take a break. We switch, and again, engage your core to hold and support your low back. And we're lifting, not great big, but the strength of our front hip, a little bit of a thigh, but not so much, mainly coming from the hip because the thigh's not moving, but they entwine together, they both attach at the hip. Last one, and we'll relax that. So we can set the weights down, and we can go back to a little bit of a chair aerobics by moving our feet again. Again, if you prefer, stand up and do it, or stay here with me. As we move, if you want to go a little faster, go a little faster. This pace is up to you, but it's a great way. This is why this can be a very tough routine, and it can also be a little softer as you need. So fast or slow. If you literally pick those feet up off the floor, that is very intense, and is again a bonus advanced move if you would like to try it. Otherwise not, you let those heels stay on the floor, and you always take it a little bit slower if you prefer. Just a little bit longer. And walk it out. Walk, walk, walk. Remember your option. But if you lean forward, don't pound. Lean back. Notice how much quieter it gets because you're pulling back and you're using more hip and abs. Circle. Move those arms. Slow if you need. Fast if you like. Reverse those hands. Don't squeeze your hands. You can make a little fist, but no squeezing as it tends to raise blood pressure. So relax those hands and relax. Take a nice stretch. Whew. If your back hurts, you have any problems with low back, you should always stop, elbow to knee, and support here. If you are comfortable with going further, then you're going to get a deeper stretch for the hip and low back. Up to you. All right, so sitting up nice and tall. Again, as we sit, a little bit of pelvic tilt, shoulders are back, feet out front just a little, and now lift your heels up and down. Again, if you want, grab your weights, put your weights up here. What we're working is our soleus muscle. It's a muscle that's underneath the calf and goes a little lower. So when we're standing, that's more calf, and sitting is the focus on soleus. Lift the heels, don't let them drop hard. And if you want to make it tougher, you can literally kind of rest one leg if it helps, or just keep up with both. or again, weights on the knees is a sure way to make this tougher. Up, 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 and rest. Turn them out just a little and tap your toes. Again, sit up, don't get lazy with your spine. Sit up nice and tall, a little bit of a tilt forward. And as you tap, let's not make it about hitting the floor, make it about the lift, lift, lift. You're really pulling. And when you pull those toes up as high as you can, you'll feel it. This is the shin, ankle, top of your foot. So all those muscles in our feet, ankles up all the way to the knee are working really hard. And of course, the hip, the body's working to simply hold us up in this pose because we're sitting in good posture. Again, if you want to make this a little tougher, if you had weights, or put the foot on top, and now you're pulling a little bit up against the weight of the other leg, that's a really nice way to make this tough. And get ankle shin. Just tap, both of them nice and soft, roll up, roll back, roll up, roll back. If you want to have good balance, strength while you're walking and moving, ankle strength has got to be there to support you. So we'll do just a few more. And relax, nice job. So we'll stand up. We've been sitting for quite a while, and again, we don't want to get really tight. Again, once you get up, you can get behind the chair and use it as support. If you don't need the support, you can really make this some tough workouts, and you can even take this into a jumping, according to where you are with your workout. This is just an option, but anytime we leap from our foot to the other, we are working on bone density, strength of the hip all the way down to the ankle. Of course, more cardio demand. You never have to do it. You add it if you want. The more the arms reaching like this, then the more demand because you're using your back and chest muscles. And if you need a breather, we keep them low like this, right? And if you need the chair for support, you always go to the chair. And we'll walk it out for a sec, okay? Take a deep breath. Exhale out. Nice job. Grab what I use is a ball, but you can also use a pillow. Sit again forward, good posture, and put it right between the knees. Now, not right at the knee joint, a little bit above it. And we sit up really tall. Roll the shoulders back a couple times. Get your feet in a little close and squeeze the ball together. Or pillow. Pillow works great. And as you squeeze, what we're working now is the inner thigh muscle. The inner thigh muscle is really important for stabilizing our legs in good posture. If we get too weak of the inner thigh, they tend to open and rotate, and sometimes we might be walking like this too much, right? So strong inner thighs are also some of the key muscles for good, healthy low back. So as we do this squeeze, it is not hard kick. It is use the inner thigh muscle to simply squeeze in. And you will feel the intensity of the inner thigh. Again, if you're getting tired and your back's starting to do this, really think, sit up nice and tall and take a break when you need as we keep squeezing. And breathe through the movement. Don't ever hold your breath while we exercise. And even though I've been nonstop, if you have water, you should always have your water with you and keep sipping throughout the routine. So we'll give just another squeeze as tight as you can, put everything in really close, and squeeze. Whew. Feel the intensity of an isometric exercise, just simply holding those muscles in contraction, and hold, hold, hold. And then slowly reach one leg up. Whoa, there's the kicker. We've now kicked in quad, hip, low back, everything's working tough. Be careful about back. But you might need to come back a little to really support the low back here. Do what you can to hold it. Can we add ankle circles? I know I'm adding a lot here. You add what you can. Reverse the circle. Try to keep the upper body as relaxed as possible. Look at that, my foot did not want to go. And relax. Woo, shake it loose. Give yourself a breather. Put the ball back in or pillow. Squeeze tight, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Roll back just a little, support that back. The other leg has to come up. We hold tough. We add that ankle circle. Now we're kicking in so many muscle groups: ankle, foot, shin, quad, hips, low back, mid back, and even the upper back may be working because we're tilting back and it's supporting us. If you didn't reverse, make sure that you did reverse and go the other way. And do 2 more. And last one. Good job. Shake that loose. So sitting up with a pillow or anything that you can grab soft, just simply palms flat, squeeze in and out. Now you don't have to lift the shoulders up, but you can. This does engage a little bit more shoulder, upper back to do so. But every time you squeeze, you're pressing in, you're squeezing, working forearm and chest mostly. And then you relax when you need. You can squeeze in. You have to have pretty soft of a pillow here to make this work and not hurt your fingers. But if you can grip in, this is going to strengthen the joints here in our hands. And then if you grip like this, where we go straight, we are actually using more of the knuckle, the big knuckle joint. So nice way to just use those fingers, okay? And then just do a few. If you're having arthritis really flaring up, you may not want to do as many or be soft with it. And you can also practice using one finger at a time, because you'll find out that some of them are weak and some are really strong. So it's a nice practice to do one at a time if you would like. So that's hand and forearm. All right, so we're gonna stretch, shake it loose for a second. I want you just to bend back here or pull back here, and if it hurts to grab your fingers, do your palms. That's just gonna help stretch that out. If you hold the arm up, it helps the blood flow to come down. You shake it loose. And for the fluid to move through the lymphatic system, it's important that you brush the fluid back in this direction towards the heart, not the other. So we do a nice little pull to relax that and shake it loose, okay? So again, you can use a band for a leg exercise that is outer hip. And we bring it up and around. Don't care how you wrap it, just wrap what's comfy. And if you don't have a band, you can take a belt or something, but it has to be able to move a little, maybe a scarf or just your hands. But as we sit, again, really good, try to pull the legs out against that resistance. So now what we're using is our outer hip muscles. So these outer hips are really, really strong key muscles in the hip joint. They sit back here. They're not the big glute muscle you're sitting on. So don't try to overly squeeze your tush. Try to use these muscles in the outer part of it to pull. Sit up real tall. And if it's not enough, make it tough. If it's too much, you loosen it. Again, if you don't have to use equipment, you can literally use your hands and just kind of resist against them. But a movement of pulling out, again, really strong exercise for these little muscles that are key to a healthy hip. And we'll do a few more. So when you take your feet wider and do that exact same routine, it becomes harder. So if you would like to adjust your feet, do so. Make it really tough. Don't go out too wide though. We never want to go beyond where the hip is. So it's either close in or just a little bit wide. And you can also do some fun little pulsing out. Hold, make it a little tougher. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we relax that. So again, whether you have equipment or not, you can always make this work. We're gonna move our feet just a little bit longer to really kind of loosen up. So of course we have worked shin, ankles, calf muscles. We've worked some good quads. We did some squats, which were really good for the hip, the thigh muscle. And we've done our lat pull. And we've done some shoulders. Stand up, relax. One exercise we did not do is more of the upper trap. So the upper trap, if you have a resistance band, instead of here pulling down for the lats, we're gonna pull here and straight back. Bend the elbows, bend the knees, breathe out, relax. If you don't have equipment, simply do it by yourself and pull, squeeze those shoulder blades together, squeeze them and relax. So set your equipment down. So standing just a little wide, arms out and circle. All right, so we don't have to make this real big, but what we'll find is the shoulder girdle, again, needs to be able to move. So we're using everything in the trunk of our body. The chest is actually involved, all the shoulder muscles, the back. And if you pay attention, you'll notice that low back and hips are actually stabilizing you as well because the movement is attached from the spine. The spine attaches everything, shoulder girdle to hip girdle. So we use it all. Relax. Ooh, that can be tough just with our own arms, much less holding weights. So you can do it, but I don't need to. Come back up, palms up, circle backwards. Now, try to keep the arm circle straight here out to the side and equally up, down, forward, back. Not here if you can help it. Try to have them up. If you have the mobility to go big for a few, do so and really open up the joint. One more time. Whew, nice job, relax, have a seat. So we're gonna do now ab exercises, and you're thinking how? Oh, it's easy to do in a chair. Find your balance, sit away, take a breath. As you exhale, round back, but don't rest. But you should feel like you're tilting back and the weight have come out of your feet, though your feet don't have to pick up off the floor. And you're holding, you're isometrically working everything in the core, hips, low back, abs, even upper back a little bit's helping to support us. Don't have to hold the arms up. If you need, bring them in closer, rest them here. You're still sitting. If the feet can come up, do so. If you want to add the arms, that makes your upper back work harder. You can even add a little bit of a pump. This is really, really tough. You can do it from the floor. You can hold both feet off the floor, and you don't have to add it. Sit up, take a breath. Roll back, whoo, make it tough. Bring the arms in and do a little punch. Now, as we rotate side to side, we don't want to shift our hips out of the chair. So make sure you're sitting really centered. And as you punch, we don't overly twist, but we do turn to hit the obliques here as well. And even adding the legs is going to involve more from the hip, lower abs. And of course, you can always add both. Woo, really making this a tough one. And modify it, take things out as you need. How about one more set? Finish, relax. Nice job. All right, time to stretch and relax. So again, as you lean forward, if you've been told not to go beyond this range of motion, then don't do so. If you can go all the way, you want to, because the deeper the stretch, the more stretch mobility you're getting from the big muscles, the lats, the low back, the hips stretching, and the shoulders, head is stretching as we reach into this. Come up, straight leg. Again, you can stop here or you can reach all the way. Foot flexed, knee straight. We're kicking in the hamstring stretch, calf stretch. If you're reaching the arm, of course you're adding more stretch for the back muscles, back of the shoulders. Both arms is even tougher. Again, just do what you can do. Now, bring it up and put that foot above the knee if you can. If it hurts at the knee, then you can leave it at the ankle instead. But if you can bring it up, we're gonna bring it up here above. And again, you can lean slightly forward for a deeper stretch. This is the outer hip. A big rotating stretch for, again, the hip joint. That's really, really important for the hip. And if you don't like leaning forward, you can literally just pull the leg in, right? If it hurts to cross, you could do it this way instead. But you're stretching out the glute and the back of the hip here and the rotators on the back of this hip as you do this one. So we'll switch sides, of course. We now have the other leg. Remember, you can stay right here. You're already getting enough by simply reaching. I don't add a reach with the arm because when you reach the arm, the upper back actually starts working to hold it up and we're not relaxing. If you're gonna reach, just slide down and let the shoulder of the body relax. But now you'll be stretching as you try to get to the foot. Foot flex, knee straight. It's more important that you lean forward from the hip, not just round. Okay? One arm or both. You know the routine. The longer you hold, the better it will be for your flexibility gain. So even though I'm not staying in it but so long, you can always stretch a lot longer. Here we are for the hip one. It's up above. Remember, if it hurts, put it down at the ankle instead. You can pull forward for a deeper stretch. You can pull the leg in. Just simply sitting is enough of a stretch for these rotating muscles in the back of our hip as we hold that. Let's come up. So standing behind your chair, we are going to stretch out the lower legs that we worked. So hold it for balance, step back, everything pointing straight forward, lean, straight leg, press that heel down gently, a little bit of a lean in gently, body supported but very relaxed, don't push, stay up and relax. Use your legs to stretch the calf muscle, keeping everything straight forward. Now, when you bring that foot in just a little and bend the knees, that's that soleus muscle that we worked sitting in the chair, if you'll remember. So the foot is flat, the knee is bent, and as you squat down, you should feel it lower around the heel cord, Achilles tendon. And we'll switch. Step back, calf stretch with the straight leg, heel down. Again, supporting, relax. You don't want to hurt the wrist or push into the upper body. Bring it in, knee bent. That's that soleus stretch. And up. So, wonderful hip stretch, and you can use the chair in this position, or you could use the front of the chair to support, either way. But as you reach, try to get your feet back underneath the hips, drop into a flat back as best you can. Let the low back sink, the shoulder blades pull back, legs straight, head drops slightly, and the arms are straight. This should be a good 30-second hold to really let everything stretch. This is lengthening the spine from hip to shoulder, head, and balancing the hips out, putting them in a natural flex position, and wonderful for hamstring. Now, if you need the support of a chair, always do it from here. And another great way to do it is, how close can we get to putting our elbows into the chair? Ooh, real deep stretch for hamstring. Very good. And if you have the flexibility to slide on down, then you want to do it. You want to keep that full range of healthy motion for the body and the joint. But again, modify as you can or need to. So another stretch for quad is when you pick up your foot and hold here, and the body has to be up in nice, good posture. This can be really tough. Don't freestyle like this. This actually makes the hamstring just cramp. So if you have to, you can rest your foot in a chair and support it. If you have the ability to stand and bring it all the way up, this is what you want for full range of stretch. And if you can balance, then you're always adding to it. We'll do the other side. Again, as you pick up, if that is uncomfortable, let it rest in a chair. Don't just hold it up. That actually makes the muscles start to work. We want it to stretch the front thigh at this point. And we hold here. So nice wide stance, just really good for the hips to tilt, lean a little bit and press. Stand in, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, lean to the side. You do not have to have the arms up here. If your arms or your shoulders are hurting, just simply leaning, you are stretching the waist muscles, your obliques, your abs, your back, just by taking it off center. We go the other side. If you reach the arms, of course, that is more work and more stretch. If you even pull gently, we come up. Can we drop here and come across the back? Now, once we're here, it's important that we pull back, and we want to pull those elbows back. And then turn your head the opposite way from the elbow. Tuck and pull back. Don't round forward. Wonderful stretch and range of motion for our shoulders. Stretching the upper trap muscle and our neck. Relax, we will switch that. Do what you can. You don't have to go all the way. But as we pull back again, it's pull back, both elbows, and hold that position. Turn your head, tuck. As we pull that elbow back, and pull that head down. And we relax out of that. Roll the shoulders, whew, just really relax that body. Open up the chest wall, the front shoulder, the chest muscle, take that deep breath. If you can, lean back a little, look up. And as you exhale, relax. Give yourself a hand, and thank you for joining us today.